Hello and welcome to KIXE-TV's 5th annual Big Education event. I'm your host, Jesse Angelo. Are you ready to go back to school? Don't worry, you can stay on your couch. For the next half hour, we'll be peeking into the classrooms of 5 incredible teachers throughout Northern California. Our first stop may not be Hollywood, but it's close. It's the technology classroom of Mr. Ben Keeline at Cottonwood Creek Charter School.
There are more than 500 miles separating Cottonwood from Hollywood. But don't tell that to the students in Ben Keeline's class at Cottonwood Creek Charter School. Under Mr. Keeline's direction, they've already won international awards for their animated movies.
Many of our successes as a school have been around Ben's film successes. He's won, I believe, like 14 awards in the area, Sundial Film Festival, and so it's put our school on the map for Cottonwood Creek as having that specialized program around film studies and around digital animation. And recently winning in Madrid, Spain, and winning at the Sundial Film Festival has really broadened our exposure as a charter school, and his program continues to build and build every year.
Building programs and producing films requires imagination and patience, especially when you give middle schoolers power over the story.
It's something where it isn't as much the story, it's the items in the story. It's robots. We've got robots. Okay, we want a robot. Okay. Oh, we want horses. And then it wasn't just one horse, it was 2 horses, of course. And okay, you know, and I think what builds from there is it's like they pick the type of characters they like, and when they act those out, another surprising thing to me, they are those characters. That's not them playing somebody, that's them. Like a tour guide, I'm tour guiding them through story. And I know as they get older, they'll develop more skills in that area, but I kind of let them really showcase the childhood fun of it all.
His teaching style is what makes our program. His style with kids, how he works with kids, his patience with kids, his love of film, his love of digital animation rubs off on the kids. Every day at lunchtime, kids are wanting to come in and spend time in the technology lab working with Mr. Keeline on a new project or on the current film that they're working on, and so they just love Mr. Keeline.
Mr. Keeline, I'm just gonna say it straight out, he is awesome. He's a really good teacher. He kind of he's good at paying attention where some kids need help, and he focuses on helping them. But he does a lot of group tutorials. So he's teaching the entire class how to do this one special thing in Poser or GIMP. And he has a really smart way of putting some of the more advanced students like me with the younger ones, so we get to help when he's teaching the whole class. It makes a really good system. And I'm amazed how much he can multitask, where he's focusing on Ireland project, and yet he's still keeping what each individual class is learning. I wouldn't be able to keep up with that.
The Ireland Project is a year-long collaborative with Borming National School in Ireland to create a 15-minute animated film titled Split.
This has been one of those bucket list dream type things. It didn't take me long to think, I wonder what a collaboration would look like. And initially I was thinking just another school in the area or different things. But the more my wife got this out of me, you know, let's just think crazy, let's go really big. And we had just done a trip to Ireland like 2 years ago. We thought, well, I wonder what if we could do one in Ireland, because we were thinking of fairy tales and different things. So of all things, I ended up working some connections to find an instructor there or a school that would want to work with us. And James Brennan is his name, and he has a 6th grade class, and they were willing to take a risk on us. Actually did a couple FaceTimes where we actually had the kids show up, and that was a big light bulb for my kids, to show up at 6:30 in the morning so we could catch their kids at 2:30 in the afternoon so that we could actually talk with them and interact.
When you go into his technology class, kids are working together on different projects, and so he really fosters that cooperative learning process with not only on films but other projects that the students work on.
You're working with people from all different walks of life, And I think to be able to work in a team setting, to collaborate on things, to be able to, hey, I have an idea, but you have a better idea. Are we going to fight over this, or can it get better? That's really the skill set they're walking away with, is a confidence in that area that I'm excited to see what they're going to do with that. I don't know. But to be honest, even in what I do, I know that it's a skill set that will help you in any career or any road you take, because communication is so a part of it.
Okay, here's my Oscar predictions for the year 2037. Are you ready? Okay, one of these kids will be up there thanking Mr. Keeline for inspiring them to reach for the stars. Now, economics may not sound as fun as creating animated movies, but don't tell that to Mr. Cabral at UPrep in Reading. Come on, let's go visit his classroom.
Teacher John Cabral is passionate about economics, and he wants to instill that same level of excitement in his students, even if it means having to feed them donuts.
To teach this concept of diminishing marginal utility, in that the more you consume of something, your satisfaction level will slowly diminish. And so it's a challenge that I allow to my seniors, where they can try to eat 12 donuts in a time frame, 12 glazed donuts, and we measure their satisfaction levels and have a good time. And it's just a fun way to kind of break the monotony of a typical lesson.
The atmosphere in Mr. Cabral's class is very respectful but fun. There is a definite focus on learning, but more than anything, there's a focus on the whole student. I think that students feel respected, but they also feel that Mr. Cabral views them really as somebody on the same level. They don't believe that he talks down to them, but instead he really puts himself in their place.
Mr. Cabral was nominated for the Big Education event by UPrep principal Shelley Peterson, who said it was his humble demeanor and ability to care for the student that inspired her to select him for recognition.
So we chose Mr. Cabral because we have many of our teachers on campus are just incredibly dedicated and invested in our students' lives. Mr. Cabral goes above and beyond the call of duty to serve the needs of our students. He cares about who they are as people. He is very interested in their potential, provides an enormous amount of support in helping them being successful.
Mr. Cabral engages everyone. And that's one of the things that multiple students have said on a number of occasions, is he makes sure that everybody in the classroom has a voice. And if he has to take a step back to change an original plan to make sure that everybody's on the same page or everybody is truly engaged, he is absolutely able to adapt and able to read the room and understand the needs.
It's the relationships he's able to build with students through extracurricular activities that Mr. Cabral says enables him to tailor his curriculum to individual student needs.
Mr. Cabral, as a gentleman with so many different hats, not just a classroom teacher, brings quite a bit to the school. He coaches junior varsity baseball, and he is a high school leadership advisor. In addition, he's the senior class advisor, and I'm sure there are many other functions. But what that adds is a different relationship with students. So not only is he in the classroom teaching and watching them learn, but he is on the field with them. He is out in the community with students. He's working on plans with students, and that creates a different relationship. He truly is at the level of getting to know what students want and how students may be successful outside of the classroom.
It's essential, in my opinion, even if you're not directly participating, just attending events, the kids appreciate it. You get to see them outside of a classroom setting. You get to see them in their own environment where they can excel, and just being there for them, it really helps establish those relationships. It just kind of allows me an opportunity to see what their skills are, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses, and allow me to focus on that. If we have a conversation outside the class, and if I'm teaching an economics course and I hear that maybe their family's involved in a business, then I can gear my lecture towards that direction to help them make a topic, a concept, applicable to what they're known to, what they know, and something they can understand.
Mr. Cabral is humble. He is so dedicated to his students. He is a hard worker. He's kind of a visionary. So he really sees where he wants to take the students, both in the academic setting and in his extracurriculars. He is funny. He really has a spirit of just this positivity.
What I appreciate about every day is coming in is that is the possibilities, I guess, that they have, and that you're trying to foster that, and no matter what direction they want to go, is like you as a teacher have an opportunity to try to get that to blossom, to try to, I know it sounds cliche, but it's true. You really do feel that you see so much potential in these kids, and you just want to nourish it and foster it and hopefully get it to grow, and allow them an opportunity to do what they want to do.
Mr. Cabral, your humble attitude is inspiring. Thank you for helping your seniors to fly. Okay, now let's head up the skyway to paradise to the classroom of Mr. Vixie. Hey, wait, is that a 6-foot-tall triceratops in the same room as a pioneer cabin?
In Mr. Vixie's room at Paradise Adventist Academy, middle school students are singing along to a song about pie while sitting only a few feet away from custom-built large dinosaur skeletons. Mr. Vixie wouldn't have it any other way. In fact, he started dreaming of a classroom like this one while he himself was still a student.
It was in response to a science question. I'm accomplishing this assignment. What would you like to do for a life career, and why? Well, I'm in 7th grade, so I'm maybe 13 years old. I wrote a paragraph about this long in 7th grade handwriting. I want to become a teacher. I want to help kids. And, you know, I am still teaching from the imagination of that boy.
The tangible result of those early dreams is a classroom where students are encouraged to discover complex theories and put them into practice, all under the careful guidance of their enthusiastic teacher.
He brings a tremendous amount of enthusiasm and energy to the class. You can just feel the energy just when you walk into the room, and he's there and he's excited about the learning that's going to take place, and the ideas that he has and wants to try and wants to implement, and their responses from the students, and that'll bring out another idea that he wants to try, and it's just a constant process of innovation and wanting to try new things and see how the students respond, and see the success and the excitement in their countenances. And that it's just like a continual cycle of increasing enthusiasm.
Discovery has several impacts on you. The first is it came from inside, so your learning is intrinsic. It's not coming outside. And when you realize this came from inside of me, wow, look at the capabilities I have. But it's associated with an emotion. Almost, on a regular basis, when a student makes a discovery, there is an audible sound associated with it. And most teachers will say, this is one of the reasons I teach. Oh, I get it. There is an emotion, there's energy that goes through you, there are these chemicals that flood through you, and when you learn associated with emotion, that emotion is a memory glue. You can remember events in school. If I am asked to remember school in the past, or if I come to a student right now at another school and say, tell me about school, what is the answer that we generally get? Oh, we did this neat activity. Oh, I went on this great field trip. Oh, I did this really cool thing. Oh, I saw and discovered. Students don't say, I did this worksheet and did 40 problems, and the teacher told me how to do it. No, it's the discovery. And we're so excited. The brain goes, remember that, figure out how to get that feeling again, discover something else.
One of the highlights for Mr. Vixie's class each year is when they take all the information they've learned and discovered over the course of the school year, plus some flour that they ground up from wheat in their garden, and use it out in the field on an authentic wagon train trip.
Beyond the academic, to take these students out and have them be involved in the world in larger ways, in ways of community service. So a lot of the things that I teach, for example, U.S. history, I engage these students in covered wagon trips. We take them out for a week at a time, and they live out there. I've got them for 24/7. I can teach math and science, ecology and history and language and writing and journaling, and all these different things will happen out there.
He's got mules, he's got wagons, all the equipment, and he's committed, and he goes out during the summer and scopes out the trails and gets the permits for the areas that we're going to go to, and we walk over the areas that we're going to make sure that we can take care of all the logistics and do it in a way that will be safe, and we can have support vehicles close enough by in case there's something comes up, but at the same time that they can get the full pioneer experience. And then he helps them, they get dressed up in their period clothing, and we're out on the trail for the week, and it's something that I've even had seniors who want to go back and do that for their senior trip because it made such an impact on them during their 8th grade year. And then when they're studying about the immigration in their textbooks, it comes alive because they can smell the dust and feel the heat while they're reading about it. And it makes a tremendous impact on them.
Do you think there's room enough on your wagon train for one more? I can carry heavy stuff. Maybe? Great, I'll go pack. But before we hit the trail, we have to make an important stop at Mrs. Tracey Leveroni's room at Hamilton City Elementary School, where Mrs. Leveroni is busy passing along her love and passion for STEM education to her students.
Teaching is a second career for Mrs. Tracey Leveroni at Hamilton City Elementary School, and it's her hope that in addition to teaching math and STEM, she can inspire them to never give up on their dreams.
I went to school when I was in my 20s, and I was a single mother with 2 kids. And I moved to Chico State, I transferred to Chico State, and I, flunked out because I couldn't find a job. But anyway, the point is, I went back later, and after I graduated, the year after my oldest son graduated from high school. And so I am just every day so excited to be working with the kids because, I always wanted to be a teacher, I just didn't follow through. And so for the students, I'm a little intense. Some people might call me quiet, but the students will probably tell you I'm intense because I'm so excited for them to, move along and not give up like I had given up before. And then I also try to remind them always that, even if it's not this time, it's gonna be next time. So we have yet up on the wall because if you didn't master it this time, it's not over. There's still another chance. There's always another chance as long as you're coming back every day. So I feel like every day is a new chance to do a better job in my classroom.
Mrs. Leveroni was nominated for the Big Education event by her STEM instructional coach, Nathan Fairchild, who says her intense love and care for her students is palpable each time you walk into her room.
I've never seen her have to do any classroom management because she has relationship. And so they want to please her and they know that she respects them. So we start with that. And so that's one of the things that she brings that makes the whole process work.
She's fortunate because being the 6th, 7th, 8th grade teacher, she starts the relationships in 6th grade. And she sets her high standards, and so they get used to that right away. So she's kind of built her system within her system by having those students for 3 years.
It was her own experience as a student that pushed Mrs. Leveroni to seek out a position teaching at a middle school.
In math in high school, I feel like a lot of the people around me had either made up their mind that, they were on the college track, that they were going to, go to college, and so they were working hard, or they just had the, the mindset that they can't do this, and so they kind of just, didn't even try. So moving into advanced math, it was less and less students in those classes because they had all made up their mind by high school, I don't know this, I can't do this. So I really wanted to teach middle school because I wanted to work with students before they believe they can't do it.
I think kids know. I think kids know when we love them. And when Tracey comes up and talks to them, I mean, they know that she cares about them, but at the same time, they know that she's really excited about the math in this quiet way. You can see, I mean, you know when you talk to somebody who's passionate about their topic. You talk to Tracey about math, you talk to Tracey about kids, you're going to know that she loves them both.
The Hamilton City community is a small one by any standards, with fewer than 2,000 people living in the town, which itself is only about 6 blocks, but it is the rural nature of the community that Mrs. Leveroni believes makes the school and her students so special.
So this is my 4th year here, and the first day I walked onto campus, you know, I was a little nervous, but I wasn't intimidated that much because my daughter goes to the district here just at the high school. And I walked onto the campus, and the kids are playing marbles. And I've never seen anybody play marbles. And I was just like, I felt like I had gone back to the 50s or something. It was just like they're the sweetest, kindest kids.
Our demographics, we have 99% Hispanic. We have 93% here at poverty level. So 50% English learners, and we're a K-8 school with about 400 and today 11 students. And we have some that transition in and out of from Mexico back and forth, and as well as around 25 migrant students.
I just want them to see STEM as a career that would be a growing field and would give them a lot of opportunities, especially in this area. So it's nice that we are so close to the university, but I want them to see those opportunities because, you know, for a lot, they would be the first person to graduate from college in their family. That, you know, a lot of them would be first-generation college students. So I hope that I hope they always know that I really want them to succeed. Not just, you know, I don't want them just to get good grades because it makes me look better. I want them to succeed so that they feel good about themselves.
Mrs. Leveroni, I think I speak for all of your students and coworkers when I say how happy we are that you decided to make your first love of teaching your second career. Are you ready for our final stop? It's the classroom of Mrs. Ada Rappeport, where the students are creating small machines using recycled products.
Teaching may be a second career for Mrs. Ada Rappeport, but the 3rd grade teacher at Reading STEM Academy says she's been a teacher her whole life.
This is my second career. Teaching is a second career for me, but I really must say I've probably always been a teacher. I realized looking back when I was in 6th grade, I was a tutor for 1st graders and I loved it. And then I went on to be a high school tutor. But then when I went to college, I actually started in a completely different career in the travel industry. But I ended up in the training program there as well, training adults, and decided after I did that for a number of years, I was in that industry for about 12 years, I decided to return to school and get my teaching credential.
Hey, well, Ada's been teaching with us for just this first year, but we've known Ada for many, many years. She worked at another school as a parent club officer, and she brought a lot of hands-on activities to the school that we were really excited about. So when I found out she might be interested in a teaching job, I called her. She was working in the private sector, and just see if I could possibly lure her over here. And luckily for us, she decided to take the job, and she does a lot of hands-on activities. I'd say that Ada is incredibly passionate about teaching, and that almost everything she does centers around hands-on learning.
Part of what her colleagues say makes Mrs. Rappeport so successful as a teacher is her curious nature and enthusiasm for learning, and it's that curiosity and sense of discovery she hopes to pass along to her students. The day we visited her classroom, she was doing that by teaching her students about simple machines.
I've never seen any of the machines that she has. And it's actually exciting to learn new things in a class. I like Mrs. Rappeport when she teaches us stuff because I think it's funny that she has all these personalities.
She lets us experiment with different tools, and I learn a lot of things that I've never learned before. I think engineering is very fun because you don't have to follow instructions, and you get to make up your own way to do stuff. I think it's special because she lets us make our own things instead of make things that were already invented.
I think she's a really nice teacher, how she helps you do the things if you're stuck and gives you certain resources and make it harder and fun. We do lots of hands-on things, like when we were building our simple machines, like this car and stuff. Like we were building like balloon poppers, cars, and other things.
Probably one of the greatest joys for me as a teacher is that light bulb moment when you're teaching different concepts and all of a sudden the children in the classroom, they get it and they internalize it and they start building and doing different things on their own and start using the vocabulary that you're teaching them and the ideas that you're teaching them with each other. And that to me probably, if I had to pick one thing that teaching brings me great joy, is that moment, with that light bulb moment when they're like, oh, Mrs. Rappeport, look at this. And you could see that today in the classroom. So many of the students wanted to share what they had built and they were so proud of even though they had problems, they were proud of their end results and they wanted to share them with the class as well as you.
It may have been an unconventional road to having her own classroom, but Mrs. Rappeport believes she has found her calling and is grateful for the opportunity to help shape young minds and hearts.
I feel so fortunate to be a teacher. It's something that I realize I was meant to do. I've taught without me realizing it since I was very young, and even though I was in a different industry originally, I always ended up in the training department, or I ended up teaching. I was teaching with senior citizens, I was teaching with young adults. And so I feel so honored to be chosen for this award and to be recognized. And teaching is such a passion of mine. And I'm so excited to share with my class the love of learning, the curiosity, and I hope to inspire them to someday do great things in their lives and encourage them all to start and really think outside of the box.
All you really need to know is she's a nice teacher, and you'll like her.
Oh, sorry. I was just thinking about all the items in my recycling bin and how I could turn them into a car. Thanks, Mrs. Rappeport, for inspiring all of us to be more innovative. And thank you for traveling with us to all of these amazing classrooms. Remember, each of these teachers were nominated during our open nomination period last fall. We then invited a committee of retired educators and community leaders to look over the nominations and select our honorees. If you would like to nominate someone for next year's Big Education event, please contact the station at 243-5493. I'm Jesse Angelo. From me and all the staff at KIXE, thanks for watching.